That's going, that's going. Okay, we're ready.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll start with what year were you born?
Matt, I was born in 1935
Okay.
in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Even though my parents lived in Ionia, which was 35 miles from Grand Rapids, I was born at St. Mary's Hospital. At 10 pounds, I was the biggest baby in the nursery. And actually, my mother told me that they had a period of time when no babies were being born, and I kind of opened up the line of new babies,
Wait,
at the
were there
hospital.
just not enough people having babies, or what? What does
Yeah,
that
there
mean?
was some
Yeah.
reason there was just during that time of
Mhm.
November 1935 there was nothing going on.
Yeah. Well, that changed,
And I
especially
didn't
10
go
years
back
later.
9 months to find out what was happening in the world.
Cool. So do you live in Grand Rapids, or did you live in Ionia?
We lived in Ionia. I
Okay.
lived in Ionia for 13 years,
How far away is that from?
35 miles from
35.
Grand Rapids, and lived there 13 years before I went back to Grand Rapids to
Hmm.
go to school.
So what was your house like?
We had a big we had a big house up on a hill on Union Street,
Hmm.
642 Union, in Ionia, and I mean it was a big hill. We were the tallest house
Hmm.
in the area. It was a 3 bedroom. Needed needed a lot of repairs, and my folks were always doing that.
Hmm. Did you did you buy it in that condition, a fixer upper, basically?
Well, it was post depression, and it was what it was,
Hmm.
and I always thought it was pretty good.
Hmm.
But when my mother remarried in 1943, uh, my my father then, Sanford Lyon, was a carpenter part time, and he did a lot of work
Yeah,
on it.
yeah, it's the way to do it.
Yep.
Um, so you lived there. So did your whole family move after 13 years, or are you being shipped
Yeah.
off to Grand Rapids?
Well, shipped off. uh, the family moved to my parents moved to Lake Odessa, and which is about 35 miles
Hmm.
from Grand Rapids and about 17 miles from Ionia. And uh, I was attending the St. Joseph Seminary at that time. So my high school was in Grand Rapids. My grade school was in Ionia.
Oh, you did the seminary. How old did you go into that?
I was 13 when I went in the seminary.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. We'll get to that
Okay.
because that's a big thing I want to talk to you about because
Yeah.
that's like a very interesting
Okay.
thing about your life
Okay.
that you almost did that and none of us would be here.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what was your well, we were just talking to Grandma. She didn't have plumbing for most of the time. Did you have
Oh yes,
decent?
we
Okay.
had plumbing. We had
Never had to rough it like Grandma.
not in the least.
Okay. So plumbing. How about your phone? Did you have the party line?
We had a single line,
Oh, jeez.
and
La di da.
because at that time, my father, William Gerard Joyce, my biological father, he was a businessman in Ionia, and that's probably why we had our own line.
Okay. Remind me
The
again. What
telephone
is
number was 242.
what was it? 242.
That was it.
Didn't they have letters too?
Did
Back?
they? What?
Didn't they have like letters sometimes? Phone numbers back then?
They
Like
did have, but
E6?
we didn't have
Not
that.
like that. Okay.
No.
So what was his business again?
He was an oil distributor.
That's right. Okay.
Had his own company. I think we talked about
Yep.
that
A little bit. We
earlier.
touched on it.
Yeah.
So you went to Grand Rapids schools? Did Ionia have their own schools?
Well, let's back up.
Yeah.
I went to a public school kindergarten, which was probably 3/4 of 1 mile from our house. Started at 4 years of age
Hmm.
and walked along the highway until I got there,
How far?
about 3/4 of a mile,
Okay.
and then I went to the parochial school, the Catholic school, for 8 years. That was Saints Peter and Paul Academy in Ionia. And we always had small classes, and some of the classes were doubled up. First grade, second grade, all in one room. Third and fourth in another, and till we got up into the fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, and they were partially doubled up. But unlike your grandmother, who learned from the students who were older than she, I struggled to keep up with my with my own.
So were you an average student?
I was very average.
Very average. Okay.
Very average. My grandmother would give me dimes for every A that I got. And I got a few, but not many.
It's not enough motivation.
I was never motivated. I was more of a rascal in school.
Okay.
Studies were not my main objective.
So were you a troublemaker, or were you a class
clown? At
okay.
times, if you look at my report cards, I didn't get very good marks in conduct. And
so were you that way all through seminary school, I guess?
Oh no, when I got to the seminary, that was a taming situation. Okay. But we'll
yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get back to that.
So okay, so a Catholic school. Who were your friends?
Well, had a lot of friends, probably close friends, maybe half a dozen, and we were kind of scrappers.
Meaning you're fighters.
We had to take on the public school kids every now and then.
Okay.
Because they wanted to take us on.
Okay.
And we were fighters, and we survived. And
was it even numbers, or were you outnumbered? I'm assuming your school was smaller.
Oh yeah, we were always outnumbered.
Okay.
But we got through that. Okay, I don't have any scars to show you, even mental scars on that.
Yeah.
But nobody really messed with us after a couple of years. They because we had friends. I had friends in the Catholic school, and I had friends in the public school, and so I got along with both of them.
Okay.
Generally.
Yeah.
We just had to prove who was stronger.
Exactly, and you did.
And I did, and I was not always. I didn't always come out on top.
That's funny. So was it you'd be hanging out on the street, and then you'd see the rival public school kids, and then someone would start talking?
Yeah, we would, or coming out of a movie or something of that nature, you'd encounter these people.
Yeah, I was sort of talking to Graham about that. So was the movie theater experience, was that like a big thing?
For me, it was every week. I went to the movies, and these were the days where cowboys were the thing. Gene Autry and his horse Champion, and Hopalong Cassidy. Who did he have? Tupper. But I had his guns. I had two play guns on my hips, on the time, and I had a back up on that too. Well, Tom Mix and Roy Rogers.
These are actors or
these are all Western cowboys that were in the movies.
They were real cowboys?
They were movie star cowboys.
Okay, I was gonna say. Right.
So we'd go to the movies, and there'd be a double feature all the time. There'd be a Western, there'd be something else, and you could go in any time.
Okay.
You didn't have to be right there when the movie started. I think it cost a dime to get in. And at one time, probably around 1943, you could get in with a golf ball.
Why?
Because golf balls had rubber centers, and the war effort needed rubber.
That's funny.
And so if you had a golf ball, they weren't too plentiful either, but
right.
you could get in with those. But growing up, I should say this, that the war started when I was about 5, World War II. And, of course, during that time, I was without a father because my father died about that time, 1940. I didn't have a father in my household for like 3 years, and that probably has had an effect on my life growing up and whatnot. But we had we played war games.
Are you talking about anything specifically, or you're just?
Well, I can, I had some emotional problems.
Mm-hmm.
Emotional being that I stuttered as going into school.
Okay.
And they'd send me around different classrooms, to give a report or something, and we were taught by nuns. We called them sister. I say I couldn't get it out.
Yeah.
My mother helped me through that and got it done. But during this time, that let's say from 1945 to or 1940 to 1945, the war years. I had to compensate for that. I got through it just fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it was embarrassing, at the times when I did stutter. And I was earlier going to say, we played a lot of war games. Mm-hmm. That's probably why I was so bellicose during my younger years.
What does bellicose mean?
Warlike.
Oh, okay. Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
And
what were war games? Like you're Japan, I'm America.
Well, we were always GIs.
Okay.
And we were after the Japanese or the Germans.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my best friends' father was a captain in the service, and he would send home German helmets, gas masks. I played with a German Luger. I mean, we had the real
classic kids,
real McCoy. And they had such an odor. I could pick it up today.
Mm-hmm.
If I passed one of these things, maybe the gas mask. And because I know that I bet I was in my 30s and 40s that I was at some surplus store. Mm-hmm. And I picked up that odor and I brought it back, and I went right to the source. Mm-hmm. At any rate, we had our war games, and they were substantial.
So what were you doing? You were just playing war, basically.
Just playing war.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When it was going on, did it? Because now it seems like war it just keeps going. There's no like true end like how World War II was. Did you think that it was going to keep going, or did it feel like we were going to win this?
When it ended?
Like in the middle of it. Like, did it feel like this could go on forever?
In the middle, never thought much about it.
Okay.
We heard the news all the time on the radio, and then when we went to the movies, they always had a newsreel, mm-hmm. Of what was happening around the world in the war.
Yeah.
And they would emphasize, I think, the deaths and so forth, so that we'd become more patriotic, mm-hmm. and be more angry.
So you wanted to join the army when you were old enough?
Yeah. Well, that was certainly on our minds. Mm-hmm. We're going to get in there and get in the fight as soon as we got old enough.
Yeah.
And I was 1945, August 1945. That was VJ Day, mm-hmm. Victory over Japan Day. And I was in Canonsburg, where the Joyce family resided, pretty much. And all of our cousins, we got into a car, and I was just shy of 10 years old, and we went into Grand Rapids to celebrate. Mm-hmm. And the oldest cousin was 13 or 14. 14, he drove. Mm-hmm. He drove. And you'll see celebrations of post-World War II, mm-hmm. that one picture always of the sailor kissing the woman in the streets of New York. I didn't see that in Grand Rapids, just a lot of celebration.
Yeah.
And but then, when in 1951, 1951, the Korean War ended.
Mm-hmm.
That ended just as I got out of high school. And so any plans I had to going into service then were out of it,
Mm-hmm.
out of question. My brother was already in as a Marine. He was a Navy attached to the Marines as a corpsman.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in Korea. And I thought, well, I'd join him. That's how I ended up in the seminary too, because I followed him.
Oh, okay.
And then the Korean War. Yeah, we're a war nation. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we're always in a war
Yep.
somewhere.
Except for that time.
And
right when you.
well, yeah, it breaks for a little bit, and then it gets going again.
Yep.
And so, well, let's see. In 1957, I think I was, or 56, I went for my physical, Army physical, drafted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was called in for the exam down in Detroit, and I had a screw in my ankle from a football injury plus a disease that went in there, and they said, no, you know, you're gonna trip, you're gonna do something,
Yeah.
and they gave me a 4F, which means not suitable.
Okay. So that ended that.
Well, more or less. Then I got into the Korean War, not the Vietnam War,
Yeah.
and I was still registered with them, with the draft board, and I decided that I better let them know where I am these days,
Mm-hmm.
because that was required. So I was living in Saline at that time, and I wrote to the draft board saying, well, you know, I have this kind of a job, and I'm married, and I've got
kids,
4
right?
kids.
Yeah.
And oh, were they mad? You know, it's like I've been avoiding them.
Oh yeah.
And so they reclassified me. They reclassified me 3A, I think it was, which take if necessary.
Yeah. Jeez.
And I knew they weren't going to take me. I was too old anyway,
Yeah.
you know, at that time. But they weren't very happy.
So
Yeah.
you played football in high school? Was that like the actual,
I played football,
like for the school,
But-
or was that?
but this was in the seminary, and that hardly counts.
Okay.
You know, it's like a pickup game.
Okay.
And actually that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I was quarterbacking, and I was running with the ball, and I got dragged down from behind by somebody, and it fractured my ankle.
Mm.
And when they took the X-ray, they found some other problem in there which was called a honeycombing of the bone, osteochondritis.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, you know, the fracture isn't the problem. This is the problem.
Okay.
So I had to have surgery, and they had to scrape it out
Okay.
and put in the screw. So that ended it. As far as what I did in high school for what my thing was pole vaulting,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't get up very far.
That's scary.
But I got up 10 feet
That's
probably,
cool.
you know. But that's it. We just had steel poles. We didn't have any. We didn't have these things that
Bend in, so yeah.
bent and threw you out.
So
Yeah.
your brother also went through the seminary?
Yeah, he entered the seminary in a couple years. He was a couple years older than I. He went in the seminary about 1947, and he was the main guy in my life, you know. So
I was gonna ask about that. Is he kind of get into like a father type role to you?
no, but he was a heck of a good brother.
Yeah.
And we so I went in there, and I was in the seminary. I went in 1949. Left Ionia, went to Grand Rapids,
Mm-hmm.
went to the seminary, and I think I was in there maybe 2 months when he says, "I'm leaving," and he left. And he went back to Ionia
Okay.
to graduate from
How
high
old was he
school.
when he quit?
When he quit, well, he was a junior in high school.
Okay.
And so I said, well, I don't want to go back to Ionia. I'm gonna stick it out here.
Why did you want to go back?
And I did, well, because my parents had moved already. That
Okay.
And then I'd have to go to Lake Odessa High,
Mhm.
one of those schools. So the seminary experience was pretty taming. We went to school. We went to class 6 days a week. We had Wednesday afternoons off and Saturday afternoons off. Then we had Sunday. We were not allowed to talk from about 7 in the evening until breakfast at 8 o'clock the next morning. If you were caught talking, that would be a mark in conduct.
Okay.
If you got 3 marks in conduct in a marking period, you're tossed out.
Okay.
Tossed out. Can you believe that?
Mhm.
I mean, what else would constitute a mark in conduct? Well, maybe a fight, obviously. If you were caught reading a book when you should be doing your studies,
Mhm.
that's a mark in conduct. Anything was a mark in conduct.
So I assume you got marks in conduct.
I did not.
Oh, you didn't? So
did.
you just knew as soon as you went in there, I've got to stop.
I did not. I just towed the mark.
Huh.
I never got a single one in 4 years.
Okay.
And I had plenty of chances to get them, but I avoided them somehow.
So would you talk after 7, and you were just
No.
sly about it? No, you just
No. Well, yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Right.
you'd whisper.
Yeah.
But we would get up at 6 in the morning, and by 6:30 we had to be in chapel, and we'd have morning prayers, and then we'd have mass, and then we'd have a little study hall before we went to breakfast. Then after breakfast, we'd come back to our dorm, clean up our, make our beds and so forth, and then there were classes, kind of lockstep, one after the other.
Were they regular like English, math?
Yeah.
Okay.
All those.
So that was in addition to what I would assume is a lot of religious study.
No. Yeah, they had religion classes, but it had, the languages.
Mm-hmm.
I had 4 years of Latin, 3 years of Greek. I had, history, and I had English, and I had chemistry. Chemistry, that's your field.
It is.
I wasn't good in that. I mean, it didn't come to me naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd ask a question, and the lay professor, teacher would come in and say, "Well, you don't need to know that. God just made it that way."
Oh, good.
He was thinking, "Oh, you're going to be priest, when you don't need to know that stuff."
Yeah.
So I didn't know that stuff. I got through it,
Mm-hmm.
but we had algebra, we had all that stuff, and we got through, and I think during my junior year, I was thinking, I'd finish out my high school there and then go on to college.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, when I did graduate, the first thing I did after I graduated, I went to the corner drugstore. Well, we couldn't even leave the property. We could not go home. We were there
For 4
all
years.
the time. Well, we could go home on Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, and summer.
Okay.
But in between, we were on that property, and we could not get off.
So you graduated from the seminary?
Well, high school.
High school.
Just 4 years.
Okay.
First thing I did, I went to the corner drugstore and bought a pack of Viceroy.
What's that?
Viceroy cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I didn't smoke or date or anything all during high school.
Yeah.
And but I still had the smoking urge, because that's where all the war generals and
everyone's doing
everybody
it.
was smoking. I had to get
Movies,
the cigarettes.
Right.
So and then I found out later that I had enough credits after my junior year to go on to college.
Okay.
So that the senior year
Mhm.
was just a bunch of more credits.
So what's the difference between the seminary and high school?
Nothing except back in those days, the church hoped to get young kids in,
Mm-hmm.
teenagers, high schoolers, who would then go on to the major seminaries,
Okay.
after high school.
Okay. So did you go to the major?
No,
No. Okay. So that was high school seminary. Okay. Okay.
high
That
school
makes more sense
seminary
now.
only.
Yeah.
And the seminary, I went to St. Joseph Seminary in Grand Rapids, and they had 6 years there. So you had 4 years of high school and 2 years of college.
Mm-hmm.
And so my friends, there's a big stretch of friends, over 6 years rather than high school just being 4.
Mm-hmm.
So
Do you keep in touch with any of these people?
did for a long time.
Okay.
Hmm.
You still
Nope.
talking about no?
No, most of them are dead.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna do a lightning round for you.
Let me. Okay. All right.
Do you know what you're gonna talk about, or what you
Yeah.
want to talk about?
I was going to say, I went on to college. I had absolutely no idea where I was going or why I was going.
Yeah.
I had no counseling. Had zero instruction, of what things were available. I worked. I worked right out of the seminary at St. Mary's Hospital in Grand Rapids, first as an orderly, then as an X-ray technician.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked from 30 to 54 hours a week all the time I went to school. I worked from 10 at night till 7 in the morning,
Yeah.
a lot of times. And that dictated what I took at college.
Mm-hmm.
Because
what college are you going to?
I couldn't, Aquinas.
Aquinas.
That was in Grand Rapids, a Catholic college. And they did not have, they had the labs that I needed, like in chemistry, because I was going pre-med, I thought.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get them because I was working. And they just weren't available. I'd go in a sleep deprived.
Yeah.
So I took what courses were available, and that's how I ended up with sociology, English, philosophy, the soft sciences.
The soft sciences.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was, I don't know if you were hearing what I was going through with Graham, but I've got major events of the 30s, and then we'll see if you've got any opinions on things, but then also the 40s as well, which you'll have much more memories with. So some of them I skipped specifically for you, but all right. So in 1930, we discovered Pluto. So I was asked Graham about this. Did they teach you anything about astronomy? Is that a thing?
No.
No.
In the 30s, I was in kindergarten and into the 30s, but 30s.
Gandhi starts his Salt March.
Mm-hmm.
So did you know, was Gandhi a known person for you?
For me, he
Yeah.
was, until much later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1931, Al Capone gets imprisoned. So Prohibition ended. Well, it ends, and we're gonna get to that. But was there any lingering things from Prohibition that you can remember growing up?
Not that I recall. I saw the movies,
Yeah.
about Prohibition. That's probably what sticks in my mind the most.
Were the movies like crime movies, or what were?
These are crime movies.
Okay.
With the FBI, coming in on Capone and
Yeah.
whatnot. Yeah.
The national anthem becomes official in 1931. Which is funny to me. I thought that.
Yeah.
I thought they signed the Declaration of Independence and they had the song ready to go. 1932, air conditioning was invented. So, do you remember when you first had air conditioning?
In a living situation?
Yeah.
When we moved into this house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 25 years ago.
You didn't have it at the K-Hole?
No.
Okay.
No.
Wonderful. So you were 70 years behind.
Yeah.
Zippo lighters hit the market. Were those cool?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a Zippo.
You did.
Yeah, I had all the equipment.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I kind of joked about it, but yeah. Tell me this smoking corn cob story, because you told me when I was younger, but I never. What was this a thing?
Well, it wasn't really, they had corncob pipes.
Yeah.
But I didn't have one of those that I really recall. Uh, as a bunch of kids, we'd just get around, we'd roll up corn silk in newspapers and light it.
So you're just.
And we'd stoke on that, and we'd smell like a bonfire all the time.
You're just, you're getting a head rush off of inhaling just fire smoke.
But we gave that up because I know that the highway that ran through Ionia, people would go through, they'd be driving in their car and they'd throw out their cigarette butts and they would go out.
Yeah.
The cigarette would go out when it hit, and then the butt would roll to the curb. So I soon found out that you could walk along the curb and pick up some pretty good
cigarette butts.
Good cigarette butts, so that was my source.
So were you did you ever feel addicted to cigarettes from like when you were a kid?
No.
Yeah, because you skipped it during the seminary, right?
Yeah.
That certainly wasn't happening.
Yeah, it didn't become addicted until after high school.
Mm-hmm.
I took it up in earnest.
The scientists split the atom in 32. 33, he launches the New Deal. So.
Well, the New Deal was a big deal for us because it on death of the wage earner, there were, under Social Security, there were benefits for dependent children, for children who, when their mother wasn't working and whatnot. So there was some subsidy coming into our household from that New Deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Loch Ness Monster is first spotted.
What is it again?
The Loch Ness Monster.
Oh, that was. No, that wasn't a thing of mine.
Hitler is appointed Chancellor of Germany. Was he? Well, I guess you still weren't alive quite yet, but even before the war broke out, were people like concerned about this guy, or was it not until he actually invaded?
Well, they were concerned about Nazi Germany, which started maybe in 37. It was getting stronger and stronger, and there were talks of war going on, and I remember really the hubbub going on when FDR declared war. 1940 40, I think.
1934, Alcatraz becomes a prison.
34?
Yep. Bonnie and Clyde are gunned down. Were bank robbers they're very built up in Hollywood, but were they like a thing back then?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Just
only
the famous
only
ones.
movies.
Yeah, just the movies. Yeah. Let's see. The Dust Bowl happens.
Yeah, that's terrible. I only know that from looking at the movie clips, that they had on that.
Thanks. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. 1936, we've got the Hoover Dam was completed.
No.
Let's see. 37, the Hindenburg blows up.
Yeah, I remember talk about that, but it wasn't until years later that I actually saw the
image.
The image, the film of it.
Superman comics. Did you read comics?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So was Superman?
Comics were the thing. Yeah, Superman was. Well, when did he come along?
He said 38 was his
38.
His
yeah.
debut.
See, he was still in his prime when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never had a cape. I never had the emblazoned S on the chest,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but yeah, he was big in the comics.
What else did you read, or what else was popular?
Oh, I think they had Green Hornet and a bunch of westerns.
Mm-hmm. And were these like comic books, like, or was this newspaper?
These were comic books,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
like a thickness of a People's Magazine, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hmm. Okay. So Hitler annexes Austria.
One,
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs makes its debut.
yep, that was. We had a lot of stories about Snow White.
What do you mean?
Oh, you know, just the story itself.
Oh, you knew it.
Yeah,
And then okay.
yeah. Not when it just came out, but sometime
Mm-hmm.
during the early years.
39 is World War II begins. So you were 4. So
Four.
do you remember that
Well,
happening?
I do.
No.
I do, because everybody was really concerned. Everybody was hovering around the radio,
Mm-hmm.
and that left an impression. So, you know, that started with everybody around the radio, and it continued through the war.
Mm-hmm.
If it were not for the baseball games and war reports, I wouldn't know. I probably wouldn't know anything
Mm-hmm.
that happened during that time.
Okay. Were you Grandma was saying she had some like nightmares about World War II. Did you feel the same way about
Yeah,
it? You're really scared.
yeah. That's, you know, I went back to some of my emotional problems.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't diagnosed with any emotional problems, but yes, I had nightmares,
Yeah.
and most of it was Japanese torturing me,
Mm-hmm.
and that came from the movies that were out, because they were intended to incite
Mm-hmm.
people, incite fear.
Yeah.
30 Seconds Over Tokyo was one of them.
What's that about?
It's a, you know, bombing of Tokyo, but then they had, I can't remember the title of the movies now. Purple Heart was one of the movies, but they would show the Japanese torturing the American captives, you know, trying to extract information.
Okay. I was reading a little bit about it like a while ago, but they're talking about how people viewed Japanese different than the Germans or whatever. Like they kind of viewed Japan because they worshipped the emperor as a god, like much scarier than the Germans. Is that the case? Did you differentiate at all as a kid?
Well, I did, because fighting the Japanese was scarier, because, you know, they had the Pacific Islands,
Mm-hmm.
and the Pacific Islands, you know, had the caves, and they had different hideouts, and they had different ways of uh, of, of constructing booby traps
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. So yeah, that was big. So uh, Germans, yeah, I think probably maybe toward the end of the war, the German movies were coming out. Did,
Did you know about Einstein?
did
Was
not.
he okay? Not until after everything was over.
Well, I didn't know about him until probably somewhere along. Probably didn't know about him until I was in high school.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, just I think like nowadays he'd be a very like almost like probably part of pop culture almost, but back then that
Yeah.
probably didn't exist.
He had to earn his keep. He had to.
He had what?
He had to earn his keep.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, what else do you wanna what other good memories you want to talk about your family?
Did
Like what?
I hear you ask Grandma about the steel pennies in 1943?
No.
No. Okay.
Tell me about
I thought they came up. Well, if you're a coin collector or know anything about coins, you know that 1943 didn't have copper pennies,
Mm-hmm.
because they needed copper and and nickel for the war effort. And so they came in with these steel pennies coated with zinc. And so when you see a silver penny, you know it comes from the war years, World War II.
Specifically that year, or was it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that year. And you probably get a circulated penny now. It's worth 13 cents.
Okay. Let's go.
Won't get rich unless you bought a whole
Mhm.
ton of them. Some people did.
That's cool.
So when we got married, are you going to talk about our marriage at some point?
No, next time probably. Yep.
Okay, we can do that.
So what other kind of stuff did you and your friends do? You play war games, go to the movies, hung out,
War games, movies,
Yeah.
and we worked a lot. I mowed lawns,
Mhm.
to make money. And I did anything to make money. Back then, 1949, I was working in a grocery store as a stock boy.
Okay.
I think I've told you this story. This was a mom and pop grocery store in Ionia.
Mhm.
And I was paid 25 cents an hour. And you've seen these grocery stores where they have pyramided the cans of pears or peaches or whatever. Well, this grocery store had their stock on hand so long that that those cherry cans would blow up.
Oh.
Like that. They get so much. I wonder if they ever killed anybody. But I get these pyramids build up, and then one of those cans would let loose.
And the whole thing would come down?
Well, they come down, yeah, but just think. She had cookies on the shelf for 3 years.
Oh my God.
It had a meat case with blowflies in there. I think blowfly is a big fly that gets in a meat case.
Yep.
And the old timers would come in, to chew the fat in the evening. I maybe worked there 6 months, and then that was it.
So what were your so you would have summers off, like I would think, like May to September, June to September.
Yeah.
So what would you do in high school during those summers? Because you were now reformed.
Yeah.
Reformed grandpa. So.
Oh, that's a tough word. I didn't need that much reforming, but well, my summers, I'd go back to Lake Odessa where my folks lived. I had no friends in Lake Odessa from a school standpoint.
Yep.
There were 3 kids that I knew that I'd hang out with every once in a while. But we lived on a lake, and I'd fish and do things around the house, but kind of bide my time until I got back to Grand Rapids, because that's where the friends were. I refinished a boat during one summer, and for that labor that I put in refinishing, I got the opportunity to use it out on the lake. And I didn't get any pay, just the privilege.
That's cool.
Other than that, it was my mother was the church organist and soloist at St. Edward's Church in Lake Odessa, and I'd go to mass quite frequently with her. And other than that, I worked with my dad on carpentry and a few other things. He was a mail carrier, and he would be done work at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So after that, he was self-taught in carpentry. He'd go observe, the builders and what they were doing, and I think that's how he picked up his skill.
Okay.
So
would he build stuff for people, or is he?
He would.
Okay.
He built himself a house trailer one time. That's before he married my mother, and he built it in his garage, and it was so big he had to tear down the front of the garage to get it out.
Oops.
Yeah. And we'd go to Grand Rapids frequently to help my grandmother, and we built a shed on the back of her house.
Cool.
So that took up pretty much the summer, one summer.
Yeah.
So other than that, it was unexciting.
Yeah.
No girls. I'd like those years back.
Yeah.
I'd probably have fun.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go through the 40s now. So
40s.
We should add some more memories from this time period. So, oops, back up to the top. Okay, so 1940, you're 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Nazis are bombing London. You saw newsreels
We see
going on about that.
newsreels. That's correct.
Okay.
And that's the right word for it too.
Yeah.
Newsreels.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was before. Well, that was anything. A radio broadcast of it too. The radio equivalent.
No,
of
the
newsreel?
radio was ahead of the newsreels, but
Okay.
but we were somewhat sheltered from the news of the war.
Did were you, because you're in Grand Rapids, was there any sort of like, because they're building
not till
so
49,
much.
not until 1949 was I in Grand Rapids.
Well, you're on the west side of the state.
Yeah.
Where I think the east side of the state's more like automotive
Yeah.
things going on. So was there any like shipbuilding or tank building or airplane building going on your side?
Well, we had a lot of I didn't know what was going on,
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 40s, but I do know that we had a lot of German prisoners at Ionian because we'd drive by the prison area and see them up with their hands.
Oh, they would send Germans across.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
We had them, yeah. And they worked in the canning factories, making GI food.
Okay.
And that's well, let's see. I was familiar with a bomber plan in Ypsilanti for some reason. I remember it being there.
It's kind of weird if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
A bunch of Germans in Ionia.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But you probably didn't think much of it at the time, right?
Well,
That's weird. Yeah.
My brother is buried down in Fort Custer
Mm-hmm.
Cemetery in Kalamazoo. And they have a German cemetery there as well. The German prisoners who died are buried there, and it's interesting to see. So they weren't all repatriated. Some died while they were here.
Yeah.
But yeah, they you see the German prisoners off and on. No Japanese.
Yeah. They probably didn't. I don't know how true that was, but I mean they might have killed themselves right before they get taken, fight to the death.
A lot of them did, and of course you see those war movies on the Pacific Islands, Iwo Jima and whatnot. They were pretty much annihilated.
Yeah. Bugs Bunny makes his debut in 1940. Stone Age cave paintings are discovered in France. It's probably those horses, I bet. Stockings made of nylon rather than silk hit the market because silk was needed for the war.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 41 was Pearl Harbor, so do you remember that happening? I would assume.
I remember the hubbub
Mm-hmm.
around that, but I didn't have the.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks.
I didn't have the information, really.
Right, because it was
what happened.
You got a radio
Got
interview.
the radio.
Then eventually you got a newsreel, right?
Yep.
But that wasn't until months later.
Right.
Okay. That's interesting.
See that. Sometime during that period, probably 1943 or so, we couldn't. You couldn't buy food. Everything was rationed.
Mm-hmm.
And they came out with stamps and coupons for meat, for gas, for sugar, all kinds of stables.
Mhm.
And you couldn't. You said, okay, you have a family of 4 or 5, then you're allowed just so much, and then that was your allocation, and that was it. So I remember a lot of that,
Mhm.
and you'd find these stamps or coupons and tokens, I guess they call them, in seating areas. People that drop out of their pockets,
Thanks.
and we'd round them up.
Captain America makes his debut. So does Cheerios, the cereal. M&Ms.
Mhm.
M&Ms in the Jeep.
Yeah, we didn't have much in the way of cold cereal. We ate oatmeal,
Mhm.
and we'd go to school. We'd come down. We had radiant heat. We'd come down. We had the radiators, and the oatmeal would be on top of the radiator. So
1942, the T-shirt makes its debut.
the T-shirt,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, made no impression on me.
What were you wearing?
1942. I don't know. I was wearing knickers probably still then.
Thanks. And like a button-down shirt all the time?
Yeah, button down. Well, in school, I had to wear a shirt and tie all the time, and I don't know how long it was that we wore knickers, but they were in high tops.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So, just hanging out. Okay.
but yeah, button down were shirts.
Yeah, 43 is more war,
Mm-hmm.
44.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a big difference between D-Day and VJ Day, or were they two equal celebrations?
Well, VJ Day was more important to me because of what happened. I mean, we were kids, going into Grand Rapids.
Mm-hmm.
D-Day was
Oh,
was wonderful, but it was all on newsreels
Mhm.
for me.
I was thinking of D-Day as the victory over Germany.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yep. So that was, you got on the radio that this was happening, and then saw the newsreels a little bit later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was big time.
Mm-hmm.
Good time.
Mm-hmm. Ballpoint pens go on sale. Remember that happening?
No.
1945 was the Dresden firebombing. Did they probably didn't show that on the newsreels, I'd assume.
Well, if they did, I've forgotten about it.
Mhm.
But anything worth filming, they'd get it somehow.
The atomic bombs are dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Did you realize what that was, or did you
No.
just think it was a big bomb?
I mean, you couldn't comprehend it.
Uh-huh.
You just could not. And even I didn't even know how many people were obliterated. Until probably years later,
Mhm.
because they just didn't talk about it much.
Yep.
And again, getting back to comprehension, you knew what a bomb did. It blew up in a very small area, but the atomic bombs, that's
City.
that was beyond belief.
The Nuremberg trials.
Yeah,
Was that? Okay.
yeah. I was familiar with some of that stuff going on after the war. Is this during the war too?
This is after the war. This is
Yeah.
1945. So.
Yeah. That hit the news a lot.
First computer is built, the microwave is invented, and Slinky toys make their first appearance. So let's see.
I think I saw my first TV at the Ionia Fair, 1949. It was a round screen. I remember.
What did you think of
that? That was pretty impressive. I had one of my friends had a TV in his home, and we'd gather around and watch. Later, after saw the first one, we gathered around to watch the wrestling matches. Wrestling was really big.
So we were right beside her dad.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even realize it was a thing.
Yeah.
That long ago. Must have always been a thing.
Yeah.
1946. It's a Wonderful Life has its premiere. Do you remember seeing that in theaters?
I don't have a recall on that now.
What movies do you stand out to you? Do you have any favorites?
Just the westerns.
The western.
The westerns, yeah, they were important because I was a pretty good gunslinger. You'd think I'd be a hunter, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh. It's alright. Either am I. In 1947, the Dead Sea Scrolls are discovered. So was that was right before you entered the...
That was beyond me.
Yeah.
I had no interest in that. I see a picture of
Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, we were all baseball players, and I went to my first. I think 1946 was my first major league game that I saw. Down Detroit. Hank Greenberg was the home run champion that year. I saw him hit a home run, and he trotted around the bases, and I couldn't figure out why he didn't run faster. You know? I didn't know the home runners had a trot. You know?
That's funny.
We always ran full speed.
Yeah. So that was a big deal. Do you remember how people felt about it?
Yeah. I see Grandma in the background.
What do you want?
Well, my dad said if I would write and get the tickets, he would take us to a Tiger baseball game, which I did, and they played Boston, and Ted Williams was playing for a great hitter and playing for Boston, and I took a picture with my Polaroid camera of the Ted Williams shift, and that was most unusual in those days. Now they shift for everything. But Ted Williams had been in World War II. He took time off from baseball to be in World War II, and it was absolutely amazing to see him. It was such a big thrill.
So you drove to Detroit?
With the family.
So that was before the highways, right?
Before the super highways, yeah.
So how long did that take to
Well,
go to Detroit?
It probably added an hour to the trip because we take Grand River Avenue, which you know well, all the way to Detroit, you know, all through all little towns and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. So what was like? Because I have my impression of what Detroit is. To me, it's always been what it is right now, but it was very different back then. So what did you think of Detroit back then?
It was just baseball.
Oh, just baseball.
It had no other significance to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Yep, like Graham said, Polaroid cameras are invented in 47. But was that the first portable camera? You can remember, or did they have the traditional film ones as well?
I don't know. I had a Polaroid after we were married. That's the first I'd known of a Polaroid.
The Big Bang Theory is formulated in 48, and Truman is elected president.
Of course, remember Truman more than the Big Bang.
49, NATO is established. Soviet Union gets the bomb. China becomes communist.
Yeah, we were always afraid of the communists. Of course, they had the McCarthy hearings going on.
Is that in the 50s?
In the 50s, yeah.
So he's looked like very negatively through history.
No, I think it had to be McCarthy had to be in the late 40s.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think 49 or so, because I remember listening to it in Ionia, and I was still there.
We hated him.
Yeah.
He was the Scarlet Letter stuff, right? Where he was like, you'd be labeled a communist and you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay.
they're out to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we got through that and other things.
Yeah.
But we had all in all, I had a pretty good upbringing. I had a good upbringing. I had good parents all the way along, good sibs, and the emotional time that I referred to earlier. After my dad died, my mother developed breast cancer, 1943, and I was taunted by the kids, your mother's gonna die too, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that probably contributed to some nightmares
Mm-hmm.
and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But she made it through.
She made it through.
Yeah.
She got to be 77.
So when Sanford came into the picture, how did you feel initially about him?
Oh, we liked him.
You did?
Liked him a lot.
Right off the bat?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was solid.
Okay. Had she dated anyone prior to him?
I'm sure she did.
Okay.
But she come home with a friend every now and then, but I don't even remember who they were.
Yeah.
At this point. But I attended their wedding.
Were you one of the groomsmen or?
No, it was a private ceremony in the rectory of St. Peter's and Paul over in Ionia.
Mm-hmm.
But he was solid. He was strict,
mm-hmm.
fair, and never heard an argument out of him.
So did once they got married, did you feel yourself kind of calming down a bit from where you're talking about the emotional things, or had you already started that before?
Yeah, well, I think that was calming down anyway.
Yeah.
But
so you had time.
Yeah.
Some time in between.
I think so. When you look back, it's all bunched together, on what happened and when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was pretty stable. Except when the nun told me get rid of my gum in class.
What'd you do?
Well, in old buildings they've got transoms above the windows.
What's
those small windows that you can open for ventilation.
Okay, yeah.
So I took it out of my mouth and I flung it out the window right across the whole classroom. I got graded down in conduct as a result of that. And we had inkwells and pen, these, what do you call these pen? Quills, pretty much. They weren't quite quills, but they had
but they were like the metal triangle, right?
Little metal nibs, you put on these things.
Did you use Schaefer pens? You could fill them with the inkwell?
No, these are those pens that
you had to dip every time.
You put in a new nib if you needed it, and I'd always spear flies with it. Well, what happened is, we had a lot of flies in the school, and I'd catch them like that, and I'd put them in my inkwell. Right?
Yeah.
Inkwell. You've seen desks with yeah. So every time I dip my pen in, I'd impale a fly, and I'd get all smeary. Oh.
You're very proud of yourself.
Yeah. So I can't think of the other nonsense I was in, but quite a bit. Used to play in the prison barns.
What are those?
The Ionia prison. They had barns, filled with hay and straw and whatnot. My friend's dad was the warden of the prison, so we'd go over and frolic around in the barns. I remember gathering up a whole bunch of eggs, from nests. I don't know what I was going to do with them. I put them in my pocket and then jumped in the hay. Of course, and all that broken broken eggs in my pocket. One of the one of the guys, not really one of my friends, but a friend of my friend, he jumped in the hay and landed right on a pitchfork, you know, and it darn near killed him. And the trustees of the prison, they were all around. It's just amazing we didn't get molested or some other different thing. I mean,
what were trustees?
Trustees were prisoners who were allowed to go outside the main building and be on the prison grounds.
So yeah, or messed with,
yeah,
just a little bit, but
yeah, get messed with.
Maybe your reputation from the other elementary school kids preceded you.
Oh gosh. Life of Riley. But well, during the war, before my mother remarried, my grandmother was very, very active with our family because she worked in the factories over in Grand Rapids during the war. And then on weekends, she would be at our house. And I think I told you about being hitched up to the lawnmower to mow the lawns.
Say that again. I'm not sure.
Well, she'd come over and we lived high on this hill. We had banks, going down on two sides. And she'd come up and we had to mow the lawn. And she was strong enough probably to do it herself, but she hitched us up like horses on the on the front of the real tight mower, and she'd kind of steer this thing, and then we'd pull it.
That was fun for you, probably, right?
Well, I think so. It wasn't child abuse as far as we could see. Maybe today it would be. But we had a acre or so out and back that we planted potatoes, garden stuff, and that was important during the war. Got a lot of people through. Our neighbors, just like Grandma's farm.
So that was in addition to your rations, because your rations weren't quite enough.
Well, I don't know if rations were enough or not. We didn't suffer, but we supplemented, with our own homegrown stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't ration vegetables and fruits.
Yeah.
It was things like sugar and flour and gasoline.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the gardens, the small gardens like you had, were called victory gardens.
Yes, well, we never called it the Victory Garden, but we got 60 bushels of potatoes.
That's a lot off that little bit of property.
Well, maybe it was more than an acre, but it's, we got it.
How did you plow it?
And they were horse and team. Oh, well, they had hired it done with a horse and a plow.
So, so both your mom and dad lived quite a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, I'm sure we'll be talking about them in the future. I'm trying to think of anything else you want to talk about before we end here.
I don't know, unless you...
Do you remember taking any family vacations anywhere?
The main vacations, not until I was... I was a Boy Scout, and I had camps. We went away for summer camps for a week. And had a couple weeks with the Joyce family over in Cannonsburg, which is near Grand Rapids, and couple weeks at a time there. And then I'm trying to think. The big trips we made were just around Lake Michigan.
Did you ever go to like Sleeping Bear Dunes? Was that a...
Yeah, we went to the dunes.
Okay.
And we went around the lake. We were up back in the island and those areas.
Did you go to Chicago ever?
No.
No.
Not Chicago, and not out of the state. Upper Peninsula. and nothing up in the thumb. Pretty much homebodies.
So, kind of maybe a good segue into the next episode. You said your parents were friends. No, your parents were friends. Your parents'
My
parents were
grandparents
friends.
were
Okay,
friends.
okay.
Yes.
Never mind. That would have been a great segue, but that's okay.
Your grandparents were friends?
My two grandpas.
Were friends?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my grandparents got married in the same ceremony. I told you about that. Same wedding ceremony, and their firstborns married each other. And those were my parents.
So how old were you two when you met each other?
Well, we
Early
got married.
20s?
I was 22 and she was 20
Okay.
when we got married, so
Perfect.
we dated for a year
Okay.
or so.
Okay. So yeah, so then that'll probably next episode will be everybody's together, since you both graduate high school and you basically met soon after, right?
Yeah, I think I was 18 when I left for Pittsburgh, and I knew who you were, and I knew we said hello to one another.
Well, yes, you were, 18. I was an X-ray technician at the time. She was a student nurse in the
Mhm.
hospital.
Cool.
And, but all of a sudden she came in to see me before she left for Pittsburgh for her psych nursing training. And
All right, we'll
we'd
get
met
to,
before that.
we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll catch that later.
So cool. Well, I've learned a lot. You can see where my dad got his fighting roots from. Was he worse than you?
Firearms?
No, was my dad worse fighting than you?
Oh, I don't know.
Because he always makes it sound like he was in a fight every week at school.
Well, no, I don't think he was.
Okay.
And I think that my fights I could probably count on one hand.
Mm-hmm.
All 5 fingers at least. And won some, lost some.
Mm-hmm.
But after you do that, you kind of establish yourself as to who you are, where you are, the rank, so it levels out.
Oh, I asked Grandma this. Do you remember like a sense of change in like lifestyle or like technology through those first 20 years? Like from 1940 to 1950, was there anything huge that changed technology-wise?
I'm not sure I knew the word technology.
Well, so Grandma answered it by she got indoor plumbing, for instance, and she got a real refrigerator.
Oh,
and,
did she ever?
Yeah.
Did she ever? No, as far as household appliances and whatnot, no, we always had something.
Okay.
I remember we had an old refrigerator, and we had one can of beer in there for 11 years, I think, until my brother drank it. Technology. Never had a TV until I was out of college, and bought one for my parents.
So that was, so seeing it at the fair for the first time, that was kind of a big deal. But you'd already been to movie theaters, so it wasn't like the first time you ever seen something like this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, movie theaters were my staple.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a lot of movies.
Mm-hmm.
All for 10 cents.
All for 10 cents. Or a golf ball.
Hmm?
Or a golf ball.
Or I got in with 2 golf balls, I think. Two different movies.
All right.
All right, man.
Wrap it up.
Well, it's been a thrill, man.
Thanks.